Then I discovered this experience of something unnameable that feels so open and loving. I learned for myself what love is in an impersonal way. So I wanted to expose today the vulnerability of recording a podcast and specifically recording these conversations with the intention of speaking from silence. There's a fear of getting it wrong. And I notice when I listen back to our previous recordings, sometimes there's a lot of mental chatter about, well, maybe that wasn't really very quiet, or maybe that was said better than other things. And there can be like an obsession about like, are we getting it right? But what this points back to is what our intention is here, speaking from silence. So whether we're perfecting this or not, it's an exercise, a living exercise in telling the truth and speaking from a place of direct experience, a place that, in my direct experience, is very quiet. And we've talked before about the path of self-reflection and how going inwards, checking in with this one who seems to be I, it can get very quiet as we drop into ourselves. And so then to speak from that place of quiet can be very beautiful. And it carries a transmission that's also quiet, that's also silent. And that's what this meeting is about. That's what our conversation is about. It's about what we call in the Leela school the transmission of silence itself.
And it goes both ways, not just speaking from silence, but also listening from silence. Because I notice the same thing for myself when I'm listening back to the podcasts, and I can have my own opinions and judgments as well. And then it's not listening from silence, it's listening as Jonas, who wants it to sound a certain way so that I can feel a certain way, really. And the telling the truth of that, the busting of that, that's what's key. So what if that shows up? That isn't a problem. It's really about being honest and vulnerable. And like you said, have this be something that we discover in real time, a moment by moment unfolding of the discovery of myself. That's how I see it.
Yes. And to put that in other words, as Lisa would say, staying true to what we love by speaking the truth.
So when you say that, I become curious, what is it about the truth that you love?
Everything. I love that I love that there's nothing to get. And as I'm hearing you speak, I'm reflecting on how podcasts are often a place where I go to consume ideas or to get a key takeaway or to learn something or to improve myself. And the medium is built well for that. But this exchange that we're putting out as a podcast isn't about getting anything. And I certainly hope that people hear it at a level that's deeper than idea or concept. It's about having nothing to get and really being touched in the essence of being oneself. What I love about the truth is that it's quiet and unburdened. How about you?
I love hearing you speak about it because how many people can say what I love about something is that there's nothing to get from it? And I feel the quality of that transmission as you say it. It's like there's permission for my entire nervous system to relax, like this internal exhale. And that feels really good. It feels really blissful to just be able to sit here, listen to you with nothing going on, to relax as I am, to not need to get anything. Yeah, that feels really good.
Maybe this is a good moment to invite our listeners to get in touch with that same place of quiet in themselves and to explore what it might be like to let the words point to this deep, quiet experience that is so much deeper than just the words. So rare. It's so rare to turn attention in this way to what is quiet, to what is inherently peaceful. And yet it's right here. It's possible for everyone.
As I get in touch with myself, it's like there's just love. Love is here, and I'm not separate from it. So, this invitation that Maeve is extending to anyone listening to this right now is really a gift. To recognize in this moment that peace is here, relaxation is here, love is here right now. You don't have to do anything to get it, it is not separate from you.
And whether it makes sense mentally or not, it's still here.
Whether you experience it or not, it's still here. And that there's no problem.
Yes. And there's no problem with feeling like it's not here. It's important here, I think, to mention that Jonas and I both received the gift of this transmission through our teachers at the Leela School. And I don't want to proselytize about this thing or this state of being that anyone can have and people should definitely try to get without exposing the full picture that we both arrived in this place with a tremendous amount of grace and support and really beautiful reflection from our teachers and the whole structure of the Leela School of Awakening.
Huge support, huge. And I know I needed it, and I still do. To come to the Leela School at a point when I really was suffering so much and had such an earnest dedication to wake up and be free and be happy. It was just so welcoming to come to the school and have teachers who were reflecting love and silence and that there's nothing going on, there's no problem. Everything is okay as it is, not by telling me those words, but through embodying it in themselves. That was huge. And the foundation of what is taught at the Lila School is about being a true friend, which means to have a silent mind, completely quiet, empty, and open, to have an open heart, and to not take anything personally. And through being in the school and really fully participating, I started to learn how I take things personally and what that even means. I mean, it's thrown around so much. Don't take it personal. But what does that really actually mean? And I had to start to uncover all the stories I was telling myself, all the thoughts I had that were making a meaning out of what was going on that I actually believed to be real and true, and lived my life based on those facts, only to discover it's just this egoic survival mechanism to help me feel like I'm safe and I'm in control and I know what's going on. So to put it all down, that's the exhale. That's where Maeve and I first met in 2019. And it's been so amazing to continuously stay connected with one another, be a true friend for one another, and just to see how Maeve has deepened. And it's amazing. Sometimes I listen to these podcasts and I'm like, my God, Maeve is so well spoken, such a depth of realization, really coming from love and silence. It's amazing.
I hope you hear it in yourself as well, Jonas, because it's the same, you know. We were in the same new student position when we both first went to the Leela School, and I hadn't had much exposure with the teachings or the concepts, even a little bit, but not a lot. And it's a mystery how something that's so natural can be nourished and supported and deepened through spending time in the school. You know, we've both been true friends for each other, sometimes like almost mechanically as we were learning the skills, you know, okay, now we're meeting. I'm trying really hard to quiet my mind, open my heart, take nothing personally. And there was a, a period of having to learn that as a skill, being a true friend, and how those skills themselves actually point towards the possibility to be in a place where we don't take anything personally. And anything that shows up that is taken personally is an opportunity to see something about ourselves even more deeply.
So much so that even taking things personally is not a problem.
And it's not just about, you know, me being in the role of learning these skills, it's also receiving contact with someone who's being in that place of having a quiet mind, having an open heart, and taking nothing personally, whether it's meeting with you, Jonas, or having met with many of the other peers in the school or more experienced peers or mentors or teachers. The gift of meeting anyone in that quiet place gives space for this reflection on my own self to expose how I might be taking something personally, to expose where I might be trying to control something, and then to be supported really intimately to open up beyond that.
Because you love it.
Yeah. And at first, you know, I wouldn't never use the word love because love didn't have this meaning. when I started at the school, people were always talking about love. And I was like, yeah, whatever, okay. Because what I call love had a very, very different meaning. It was like, you know, one person to another, romantic love or like burdensome love. I don't know. But then I discovered this experience of something unnameable that feels so open and loving that, yeah, I learned for myself what love is in an impersonal way.
You discovered it for yourself. That's the key. Someone didn't tell you something that you then understood and held on to. And that was really the gift for me in coming to the school was that I was watching as many spiritual videos and trying to learn as much as I could. And when I came in contact with our teachers and our peers and really got the reflection of the possibility of pure silence, openness, love, all the concepts I had became experiential. I realized it in a much different, deeper way that is not understandable by the mind.
I'm so glad you said that because I am aware that one of my biggest fears about making a podcast is that people will hear our words and use them to cause harm, use them to create some personal identity or misuse them in a way that causes harm either to themselves or to other people. And I really am aware of how the words alone could be misused in that way. But what we're really pointing to is about letting the words reveal something deeper that's experienced directly in each of our own selves for ourselves.
Yes, yes. I just have to say, hopefully not ruining the moment, but I'm getting a laugh at it how innocent and sweet your fear is. My biggest fear is that I'll just sound like an idiot.
That's funny. That's really funny. Yeah, well, in a way, it's not so different, you know. It's also personal. This fear that someone will take my words and then use them in a way that I don't want them to be used. It's also an example of me taking something personally. And sure, it may be innocent and sincere, but it's also the way that I take things personally causes suffering in my own self because there's a story that I'm creating that's made up. And also nothing wrong with it. Like I really do sincerely hope that no one causes harm, that these words cause no harm. But at the same time, I don't need to suffer by torturing myself with that thought. And I don't need to distract myself from what's more important, which is staying close to this silence that I love.
It's perfect because it brings it back to where we started, actually. You can listen or speak from a place of judgment and projection and self-hatred and fear, or you can be so quiet and so open. And if you do happen to speak from or listen from judgment or having a certain opinion or expectations or whatever it is, you can also, as you just did, tell yourself the truth about it, bust yourself. And so then tell us what's the result.
All of the stories can stop because I was the one making them for myself or choosing to take them on. And it can stop.
And when all the stories stop,
Tenderness, a sort of a tingling that's very open, impersonal, and loving.
so beautiful. It's reminding me of the words from one of Franz's songs. Franz Peters is the one that does the intro and outro for our podcast. And in one of his songs, he says, when all the stories finally end, all the broken hearts can mend.
And his musical group is called What Matters the Most.
Which just feels so fitting for our podcast.
Truly. Yeah, so maybe this feels like a good place to close today, and we can go deeper as we continue the conversation now.
Yes, always. And maybe we can even play you a short clip from Franz's song just to end us off here.
Love it. Thank you, Jonas.
Thank you, Maeve.
Life has been magnificent, but something's lacking still. I've been busy looking for another cup to fill. All the time I'm searching for an answer, I was blind. Must have missed the question, I got caught up in my mind. How many choices do you need? If only love can set you free. And when the story finally ends, every broken heart shall mend. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Every broken heart shall mend. Whoa, oh, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Every broken heart shall mend. Wake up in the morning and I don't know where I am. Sun is shining in my face, I don't know who I am. Reality is slipping me and time is standing still. I just need to find the damn cup that I have to fill. How many choices do you need? If only love can set you free. And when the story finally ends, every broken heart shall mend. Whoa, oh,